If you missed out last year, we're glad you're here this year because you do not want to be anywhere else on a night like tonight. We're extremely excited again to have everyone here. And before we get started and get into all of the amazing discussions and networking, of course, with the people around you, I'd really like to invite the CEO as well as one of the co-founders of the Coalition of Black Small and Medium Enterprises, Mr. Yinka Adebule, on behalf of Kobe SMEs, highlighting the vision of the organization and why we're all here tonight. So please join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Thank you, Vivia, and thank you, everybody. It's such an honor to have everybody here tonight. We started planning this right after the last event, so it's good to see everybody here and see the event come out this way. So thanks for coming. I really appreciate that. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the 2025 Black Business Networking event, themed corporate efforts to enhance diversity procurement for Black-owned businesses. And please mind I've been talking all day, so my voice might be a little bit unbearable. Bear with me, please. I'll stand on all existing protocol. I think Vibia, she did a good job in sort of recognizing everybody here today, but I just want to thank Honorable Jamie for coming out, and Mayor Chad also for coming out. Thank you for coming out tonight. I also want to thank my beautiful wife, Lola. Where is she? Yeah, over there. Yesterday was her birthday, so in the midst of planning all of this, we still have time to celebrate her yesterday, so that was good. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to stand before you today as we come together for another impactful edition of the Black Business Networking event. BBNE is more than just a gathering. It is a movement it's a movement that fosters collaboration, innovation, and empowerment for Black businesses in our community. Through your unwavering support, this event has become a premier platform where businesses, allies, and stakeholders connect, network, learn, and champion new ideas. Before we dive into tonight's discussion, I would like to take a moment to reflect on our achievements in 2024 and introduce exciting new initiatives for 2025. Reflecting on, in 2024, the Coalition of Black Small and Medium Enterprises remained dedicated to creating opportunities and strengthening the Black business ecosystem. Some of our key initiatives included the 2024 BBNE, a virtual information session in celebration of International Women's Day, an open forum discussion focused on nurturing Black business success, the Mayor's Hangout, an evening of dialogue and engagement in collaboration with the Regional and District Chamber of Commerce. Additional partnerships including the Life of Both event hosted by the Regional Public Library and NESH, organized by entrepreneurs and more. We recorded over 250 attendees across all of our events last year, which is significant to us because we're a non-funded organization, and for us to be able to do that, I think it's an achievement for us. Every dollar that was raised came from in-kind contribution and the generosity of our sponsors as well. So I want to take a moment to thank everyone that supported us last year. It's okay, we can clap for them. They did a good job. Thank you. Also, to strengthen our operations, we also established an operations team to streamline and enhance the activities of COB SMEs. Their commitment and dedication have been instrumental in making tonight's event possible. So if we just want to put our hands together for them again, just to celebrate them. So thank you, everybody. Unfortunately, because of my time, I can't call everybody out, but that's why there's a picture earlier. As we move into 2025, our commitment remains unwavering to continue adding value and empowering Black businesses. I'm excited to announce two major initiatives that we will be launching this year. The first is the Black Business Directory. This is an initiative that will serve as a centralized resource to promote Black-owned businesses, increase visibility, and foster collaboration within the ecosystem. You will hear more about this initiative later when we will have a presentation that will be showing on that. The second initiative is the Digital Empowerment Program for Black Businesses. Unlike other programs, this initiative is designed to address the unique challenges Black entrepreneurs face. It offers a comprehensive and culturally specific approach to helping business owners adopt digital tools and strategies tailored to their needs. Our success so far is due in part to the strong relationship and contribution we have built over the years. However, in order to scale our impact, we need robust partnership with government, and I'm glad there are a lot of government officials here tonight, and also stakeholders and private organizations as well, and I'm glad we have enough of private stakeholders as well too. So just imagine the difference we could make if we were a funded organization. The journey to building a sustainable Black business ecosystem may be challenging, but the contribution we make today will lay the foundation for future success. We invite you to join us in making history. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a very great night. Thank you.
Thank you, Yinka. Next, I'm excited to also invite Honorable Jamie Martins to deliver greetings on behalf of the Government of Saskatchewan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What a beautiful crowd here tonight. I can't wait for more to come and for the networking to start beginning. So good evening, everyone. I am honored to be here on behalf of the Government of Saskatchewan. I want to thank the Coalition of Black Small and Medium Business Enterprises for putting together this very important event. I would also like to extend a special word of welcome to Chad Baczynski, the Mayor of the City of Regina, and to Mike Tate, the CEO for Regina and District Chamber of Commerce, as well as many of my legislative colleagues here today. I want to thank you, Vibia Netanya, sorry if I butchered that, I hope I said that okay, for Black in Sask, for being the COO, for handling the emceeing duties today. As we celebrate Black History Month, it is important to remember that our province is made up of many people from different cultures and backgrounds. This is reflected in Saskatchewan's provincial motto, "From many people's strength," which emphasizes the importance of reflecting on strong history and legacy of diverse communities in our province. This includes Black-owned and operated businesses, which have such an important role to play here in Saskatchewan. As well, they help build our communities and contribute to a greater economy. Many of you here today in the audience are small business owners. We appreciate your contribution towards economic growth into this great province of ours. Our government is pleased to work alongside you and looks forward to seeing your business grow and thrive. In Saskatchewan, we're making doing business here easy by creating a business-friendly environment through competitive tax incentives and further reducing barriers to entry. That's why we continue to see positive outcomes in some of the leading economic indicators. This economic growth is thanks to business owners like we have here today. People from all over Canada and the world are choosing our province to live, work, raise a family, and start a business, fueled by our low cost of living and many competitive incentives. A growing province is a sign of a strong economy and creates more jobs and opportunities for everyone. I wish to thank you for choosing to do business here in Saskatchewan. A great way of learning from a new opportunity is through networking, which is why events like these are so very important. I look forward to coming back next year. I hope you'll all be able to establish some new connections this evening, and I wish you all the very best in the future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Martins. Next, we're really excited as well to welcome our new mayor of the City of Regina, Chad Baczynski.
It's the second time I almost slipped tonight. Oh, man. Good evening, everyone. I want to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 4 territory, home of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, and the homeland of the Métis. I'd also like to acknowledge a few folks here tonight, MLA Brad Crasweller, MLA Brent Blakely, MLA Alina Young, MLA Nicole Sauer, Chief Farouk, thank you very much. I saw you over in the corner. And as well as the Honorable Jamie Martins, thank you for your words. On behalf of my City Council colleagues, I'm honored to be here with you tonight, to connect with and celebrate Regina's Black business community. I also want to recognize that it is African Canadian Black History Month. The rich history of Black Canadians is deeply woven into the fabric of our city and our country. Whether it's social, political, cultural, educational, or economical, Black Canadians have greatly contributed to and made important advances in every single one of these areas. This month marks an opportunity to celebrate these contributions, recognize the challenges the Black community has overcome, and reflect on how we can continue to work to create a more inclusive community. I can't think of a better way to do this than to be here with all of you this evening, listening, sharing, and celebrating. Regina proudly continues to grow as a diverse community, and the City of Regina is committed to creating a better, more inclusive community where everyone belongs and has an equal opportunity to thrive. By connecting with members of the Black community, we are privileged to be able to have meaningful conversations, not just about barriers that exist, but also opportunities. And Regina is a place that is full of opportunity. This is a great place to start and grow a business, because we are a city that has an incredible sense of community. We are a city with an entrepreneurial spirit. We work hard and we innovate. Regina has an economy with immense growth potential and opportunities. Small to medium businesses are the backbone of our economy, and there are over 23,000 small businesses operating in Regina that have been started or are run by local entrepreneurs. These businesses become community cornerstones. They can be a place where people can connect, and they can bring new opportunities and experiences to our city. They are creating job growth and providing local people with job opportunities. Embracing and promoting a diverse business community is crucial for fostering economic growth and vitality in our city. And the Black business community has varied talents, skills, and an entrepreneurial spirit, all of which become a catalyst for economic resilience, job creation, and overall community prosperity. You also bring different perspectives and experiences, which sparks innovation and creativity within our community. The collaboration of people from different cultural backgrounds leads to creating unique ideas, problem-solving approaches, and strategies. And I talked about this actually a couple weeks ago, but the phrase, "this is the way it's always been done," it's my least favorite phrase. And I know the people in this room are champions of changing that. We're gonna change the way we do things. The collaboration of people from different cultural backgrounds leads to creating these unique ideas, and that innovative environment contributes to economic growth by driving the development of new ventures. Diversity makes us stronger, and it is not only welcomed, but encouraged. So I encourage everyone here to connect with businesses within our community. That next connection that will bring you success or a new opportunity is likely closer than you think. I would like to thank the Coalition of Black Small and Medium Enterprises for hosting this event and for all the work you do in our community to support and empower Black businesses. I hope you all have a fantastic evening networking and gaining insights from tonight's speakers. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to meeting many of you tonight. Thank you.
And for those of you who didn't know, our new mayor is also a little bit fluent in Pidgin English. I'm not going to put you on the spot. Take a deep breath. But one of the amazing parts of getting to be part of our community is the fact that you get to really get to know people on a personal level. Seeing members of our government, people of private sector, and just regular everyday folks getting to be together in one room and getting to understand what really drives people is part of the amazing aspects of our community. And when it comes to what you can do to really ensure that you are taking the most out of tonight's event, asking great questions is a great place to start. Mayor Chad, can I call you that? Sure. Okay. really made sure to also emphasize the aspect of being sure to recognize that it's important to do things in a new way, in a way that you may have never imagined before. So really asking the people around you, and we really want to emphasize taking the time to really get to know the people that are not only sitting at your table, but also that you may have never ever encountered in a different space before. What's something new that you're doing in your business? How are you navigating the changing climate, the economic, let's not call it turbulence, let's call it something fun, elevators. Going up, going down, it's always changing. What people are doing to be able to navigate these turbulent times is oftentimes, you never might always realize something that you might need down the road. So building these connections is extremely important, and we're really looking forward to being able to welcome more individuals that you can continue to learn from throughout tonight's discussion. If you don't already have a pen and paper handy or your notes app on your phone open to be able to take some quick notes, I really highly recommend doing that as well, especially for any youth or young entrepreneurs in the room. If this is your first time being at a business networking event, make sure you're taking some great notes, because there are going to be amazing nuggets that you don't want to miss out on. So when it comes to moving forward in tonight's event, we're really excited to also welcome Mandy Pawlowski, the Manager of Entrepreneurship and of Emerging Sectors at Economic Development Regina, who will share some exciting insights as well. So again, if this is something you haven't heard of before, we really recommend that you take some notes, take some time to really engage in tonight's discussion. And Mandy, we're turning the floor over to you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Vidya, for that introduction. I'm Mandy Pawlowski. I work with Economic Development Regina, and I'm the Manager of Entrepreneurship and Emerging Sectors. And I'm so excited that I get to be a part of this Black Business Networking event tonight. Pulling something together like this once is a huge undertaking and a giant success, but being able to do that twice and turn it into an annual event is something that really showcases the growth in the organization and the community. So congratulations. This is a huge undertaking. So one of the super fun questions that I get from my family and friends all the time is, what is Economic Development Regina and what do you do? So to put it very simply, Economic Development Regina, we work with entrepreneurs, business owners, investors to build, scale, grow business here in Regina. We want to see offices filled. We want to see warehouses built and stocked. We want to see jobs created, and we want to see those jobs filled. Now, here's the thing. We don't do that. We don't have an EDR warehouse. The people that do that work is everyone in this room. It is the entrepreneurs and the small, medium-sized business owners who are doing that work, who are taking their ideas and bringing them to fruition and creating those opportunities, those jobs, those office spaces, those locations. This is something very important to me personally because I am an entrepreneur. I come from an entrepreneurial family. I've grown businesses and ran businesses for many years. And trust me when I say this, organizations like this and events like tonight are absolutely critical to growing your business and your network. I challenge everyone to talk to as many people as you can tonight, because this is where you're going to find your collaborators. Rooms like this is where you're going to find your next mentor, your next business partner, and hopefully some friends. I'm really excited to share with you that in 2025 at Economic Development Regina, we have some fun initiatives that you can take part in, hopefully. If you haven't already heard about Regina 25, please go check out one of our social channels or our website. This is an initiative aimed at celebrating our community. So have a look at it and nominate someone that you know that deserves an award and some recognition. We recently launched a talent attraction campaign aimed at cities that are not Regina to convince them that they should come to Regina. So we've got some really lovely breakup letters all over Canada right now saying you should come to Regina. We have some other initiatives coming up very soon in the year, and I'm very excited to share that with you soon. I can't tonight, but please stay tuned. We're very much looking forward to supporting the work that you do, helping you pathfind your route to success here in Regina, helping you create those connections, find those programs, find the resources that you need. So I look forward to talking to everyone and getting to meet you and hear about your challenges, your dreams, and what we can do to help you succeed in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. And that campaign is actually working really well because not only have I seen some of those campaigns going in some of the airports that I've been traveling in recently, but I've also had friends from other provinces be like, hey, is this you guys? You guys have some money in Saskatchewan. So hey, kudos to us. I think that's a really amazing opportunity for people to understand exactly what's going on here in Saskatchewan, and also for us as Black community members as well to also put ourselves as being part of that map making, and also making sure that we are part of the process as well. So when it comes to economic development Regina, I hope at least if there was one thing that you could take away from learning about their organization, it's that you have the opportunity as well to get involved in what's going on there, and also to make use of those resources for ideas that you're currently working on, or even things that have been outstanding for a long time as well. So thank you again for sharing that information with us. And a little bit of housekeeping items as well. For those of you who are just joining us, again, you're in the right room. We're at the Black Business Networking event. If you haven't already seen outside of these halls here, to your right is the men's washroom, to your left is the women's washroom as you are leaving the main halls, and then there's also a generally accessible washroom just up the stairs and to your left. In the event of a fire that is not from all the amazing networking and music that's happening in this room, you can just find the nearest exit and depart from there carefully. We have an elevator just right by the audio-visual area over there. We have exits on this side as well. And then there's the main door exits that you can also exit from the back far corner over there as well. Other housekeeping items that are extremely important, probably more than the fire exits, include documenting tonight's event. Some of you might not necessarily think about it in this way, but you are currently part of making Black history happen. When it comes to younger people in Saskatchewan, little side story. I love telling stories, but Yinka's gonna cut me off in case I go a little bit too long. But just a little story. Growing up in Saskatchewan, in Regina, in the early 2000s, you have a young BBNE Tana, eager to do her project about what it means to be a Black person growing up in Saskatchewan. I go to the internet to find my most reputable source, Wikipedia. And I search up Black in Regina. Google's buffering. I'm giving it some time. Something good's gonna come up, something exciting, and nothing. There was nothing. And I look around this room and I hear about the stories of incredible individuals who are breaking barriers in tech, in healthcare, bringing those different sectors together, food services, and if you know Black food, I don't have to say anything more about that. But where was the documentation of all these different strides and efforts that I was seeing community members, my aunties, my uncles, my cousins, taking part in within our community? It wasn't there. And part of the amazing aspect of, again, being able to be part of the 21st century in our community is the fact that we get to be part of making sure people know what's happening here. So if you have your phone on you, let me see it, hold it up, take a look and find it. Awesome, awesome, I'm seeing those phones. Make sure you're going to Instagram, to whatever social media channel you use, to search up COBSMES. Put it in your notes app if you haven't already done that, and search up the organization to give them a follow. If you're posting about tonight, make sure that you tag the organization so they're able to reshare it and spread the word to the network as well. And also use the hashtag BBNE 2025 and your posting. Most of us are on LinkedIn, and if you're not on LinkedIn, talk to me about it on the side, because LinkedIn is where everything is at. You want to make sure that you're getting involved, sharing information about what's happening here, because again, it's Black History Month, but all the efforts that are happening in our community take place 12 months a year, all year round, all the time. And this is part of documenting exactly what's happening in our community and also planning for the future in terms of collaboration as well. So make sure you're taking the time to do that. And without further ado, also wanting to remind you as well that we are heading right into conversation. Last year, one of the most amazing pieces of feedback that we got was the fact that people just love to chat, getting to get out of the cold. And listen, after the last 2 weeks that we've had here, having everybody here is honestly a feat in itself. So being able to get out, talk to people about what you've been up to, what you're planning in terms of your business is amazing. So really make sure you get the opportunity to get your business cards out, your digital cards as well, and be swapping and introducing yourself to people. We'll have lots of opportunities for that starting right away here. We're going to be inviting our band that are sitting at table 14. Give a little wave, band members. This is Elevate Music. music. They're going to be sharing some amazing music throughout tonight as well. They're also a group of entrepreneurs in their own right too, that I have the pleasure of working with as well. So they're going to be heading up to the stage right now as well to get us kick-started in terms of music for tonight's event, and also welcoming you as well to start chatting away with people at your table. And we are going to be heading into dinner quite shortly here. So just take a moment to get a refreshment if you haven't at the very back at the fountain of refreshments out there. And enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back here after a few moments to let you know when it's time to have dinner. Thank you so much. And just as a bit of a housewarming as well, we also have the food out for a bit too. So if you'd like to go and grab some seconds quickly before we get started and just top up on any desserts or anything like that, you're welcome to do so as well. We'll still have the food out for a little bit before we continue on with the program. All right, so let's get started here. So we hope that not everyone is overloaded with a whole bunch of food and unable to stay awake. We have a lot more exciting information and content to go through for the rest of tonight. So before we proceed any further, I'm just wanting to find out, is there anybody, again, who's here for the very first time? You have not been to the business networking event before. Okay, can we give a round of applause for all of the newcomers to the event? Awesome. Yes, thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to have you all here. And as we go into the next part, for those of you who are just joining us in the second half of the event, you may have missed that at the very beginning, we had the CEO of Kobe SME and let us know that there's actually a new initiative that they're launching this year, and that is the Black Business Directory. So I'm going to be inviting Mr. Lai Daniels to be coming up to the stage here to share a little bit more about this Black Business Directory and how all of us can get involved and as well support the initiatives that are going to be launched by the organization. So Lai, the stage is yours. Please welcome him up to the stage.
Thanks, Vivian, for the introduction. I'm just here really briefly. I know that everyone's still enjoying their dinner. I'm glad that I was the first person after dinner before people start to get sleepy. And so I'll just get through this pretty quickly. We're introducing an amazing initiative that I think it's the first of its kind. I like to say it's the first of its kind anywhere in Canada. Yinka always corrects me. But I think it is one of the very few, if any, exist at all that is specifically targeted at our audience. And so I'll just walk through a few slides on how we plan to unlock opportunities of connecting and growing Black businesses in our community. I'll start with what we identified as the gap. And so we noticed that there are connections that happen in our community, but we figured that there's a huge gap in making meaningful connections. And when I say meaningful connections, I mean entrepreneurs connecting with their customers, being able to find partnerships, being able to find clients, and having those meaningful connections that actually drive growth. It's not just an exchange of a business card here, a conversation here, a phone number here that we never call, but actually fostering a community that drives active business growth, active partnerships, and active collaboration. And so once we identified that that was the key problem, one of the root causes for that was visibility, right? Like just giving Black businesses some measure of visibility, knowing that they exist. And if someone knows that they exist, then people that are interested will look in, and then you could probably form those meaningful partnerships or form those meaningful relationships. And that's what has birthed. I mean, I had this huge drum roll moment, but Yinka already spoiled it for me by giving you a heads up. But we're still going to do the drum roll. So introducing, drum roll please. Introducing the COB SME's Black Business Directory. Can we put our hands together for that? I know some might say directory. Like, really? That's the huge initiative? Trust me, it is. And there are many layers to this, there are many steps to this. This isn't just any business directory. This is a quick mock-up of what we think it will look like. It's still largely in development and it's still coming, and I'll talk a bit about some of the launch dates shortly. But this is what it will look like, and we're hoping that we'll achieve a few things. Number one is we want this to be a comprehensive online resource, a go-to resource for finding and reaching Black businesses in this community. I know the mayor already spoke about this Regina as a whole being a collaborative, fostering community, and also Saskatchewan as a whole, delivered by the provincial secretary as well, on the province just looking forward to fostering this community and building this community. We want this to be the go-to resource for finding these partnerships, finding these businesses, giving these businesses visibility to be seen easily. Imagine a platform that you could just go online and search and instantly just being a part of the community, you already have increased visibility, you already have increased searchability. One of the key things we've been working on the back end is having the search engine find us very easily, right? And so we partnered with various people that are putting together the algorithms and stuff, and we want everybody that's a part of this community to be easily findable, easily searchable, and that would be the first thing that we'll see, increased visibility. And so we'll dedicate a platform to showcase products and services, improve searchability and discoverability, reaching a wider audience, specifically interested in supporting Black businesses, and just products that anyone needs as a whole, right? Even if it's not anyone interested in supporting Black businesses, but we have great products in the room. Vivi has spoken about that. We have great services in the room. Just being able to find us and being able to reach us, right? So imagine customers actively searching for businesses like yours, and we can find them right there in the community. One other part of this, which I think personally is the biggest part and the one I'm most interested in and looking forward to, is the power of bartering. And anyone that knows African history, or any history, to be honest, right? Before the invention of currency, this was how things were traded. This was how trade happened. This was how things increased. This was how exchanges happened, right? And so we moved away from that with the invention of currency, but why? Right? I know it still happens. We still do that, but can we find a way to formalize it and make it more standardized, as it were, and make it more predominant? And so we're looking for a platform where this can happen actively. And so you have a small business, for example, that is just starting up, just kicking off, trying to conserve cash flow, and there's this other partner, and they need this critical partnership to be able to expand or move things forward, and they both value their services and exchange, barter, right? Right there in the community, and they just move that. We're exchanging that, building our communities together. The marketing firm here provides marketing services to a legal company exchanges, and we're helping each other building this community as a whole. I thought somebody would be excited about that. Okay. So we're looking forward to unlocking this new potential. Obviously, there's nothing new that I've said here. It's just putting it together, finding a one-stop shop where this can actively happen all over Saskatchewan. And I'm sure everyone is excited about seeing this in the province. Now, that's on the entrepreneurial side of things, right? We also have on the partnership side of things, because we know we have people in the room looking to partner with this community, looking for entrepreneurs and looking for businesses to be a part of, to support, and to partner with. And so also we have increased visibility of the community, and you can come join the community to provide partnerships, networking opportunities, mentorship possibilities as well to share knowledge and experience, shared experience and support, and a thriving network of businesses to grow our province and our country. Last but not the least, and as I begin to wrap up, I know we have a few questions prepared already. Some people are sending questions, so I'll just ask Yinka to come up briefly and answer some of those questions. But I'll wrap up with a few thoughts here. And like I said, it was going to be brief. I hope I've kept my word. Very quickly, just a few housekeeping. We have the launching of the Black Business Directory is happening in Q2 of 2025, and we're all looking forward to that. We've been working on this, and I'm sure Yinka will speak to this shortly, but we've been working on this for some months now. We've been pulling teeth and just trying to get this over the line. And so we're about there, we're just about there, and so Q2 2025, look forward to that. If you're an entrepreneur in the house, you want to be a part of this, we're excited to have you. Please reach out to us. That's the email there, inquiries@COBSMEs. However, if you don't want to send an email, just stop being kind in his tracks as you see him walking around, or you see me, anyone on the team, just stop us, ask us about it. We'll be happy to share some thoughts on that. Last but not the least, like I said, sponsorship opportunities as well. If you want to be a part of this, you want to get ahead, be one of the first people to get in on this, please feel free, stop us, have a conversation with us. And I'll hand this over to Yinka very quickly.
So that was a lot of information, and I know looking at some of you and how you were enjoying the food, if I was to ask you what you took away from some of this information, you might be like, can't really remember a whole lot. That's okay, we're gonna be recapping it just a little bit here. So Yinka, if you could just tell us a little bit about just high-level points for entrepreneurs and business owners, or even aspiring business owners in the room. What are the key things they should be taking away from this business directory, and how can they get involved?
Thank you, Vibia. So I think the goal is for us to get as many Black businesses on board. And one of the ways we're trying to do that is to sort of reach out. We have a database of Black businesses already that we will be using, and we want to collect more data. So you'll be seeing some, not feedback, you'll be seeing some forms sent out to email sent out with information on what we need, and our hope is for us to be able to collect those information and start building the database with those data. Also, some of the things we will try to put together networking events like this, where we hope that we can continue to speak to old and existing Black businesses for us to create that database. In terms of the release or when this will be launched, we're still doing one or two things behind the scene, and we're hoping that by probably before the end of the second quarter, maybe we will start, we will launch that, but we need the support and the help of a lot of Black businesses to be able to achieve that.
Thank you so much, both of you. And just as takeaways as well, in terms of things to remember from this little portion here, the first part that we were talking about at the beginning of tonight's event was connecting, right? Introducing yourself to people, ensuring that you're making those connections last beyond tonight's event. So connect. Can you say it with me? Connect. Okay. Part two, in terms of important actionable takeaways from tonight's event, is respond. Oh no. Respond. Thank you. And that includes responding to callouts from organizations like the Coalition for Black Small and Medium Enterprises. They send out surveys, they send out opportunities for you to put your business out there, and also to partner with them in building what's taking place for the next generation of entrepreneurs in our city and in our province as well. So when it comes to projects like the Black Business Directory, it's a huge undertaking. If anyone's ever tried to find the perfect plate of jollof rice at 3 a.m. in the morning, maybe it's just me, I don't know. Or, looking for someone to do your hair in a different style that you might have not found, and you're tired of scrolling online. projects like these are extremely important. Luckily, I had, my locks done by Locks by Sash, so I don't have to worry about that. But when it comes to making sure that this process is easy, especially for newcomers joining our community, if this is something that you're passionate about and you've gone through the frustration of trying to find a service and not being able to find how to proceed with it, this is something that you can get involved in as well. We spoke about the need for funding for organizations like the Coalition for Black and Small Medium Enterprises, and right now we're looking for help, right? So if this is something you're passionate about and you know how to be able to take things like this forward, please make sure you're reaching out to Yinka and the team to ensure that this project meets the needs of our community as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's continue to go into the next pieces of the event. But just to recap as well, point number 1, connect. Okay, that was good. Some people were even keeners for the next point. So make sure you're listening, because this next segment here is something that you're also going to want to take key notes on. I'm really excited to announce a fellow young person in our community as well, who's doing amazing stuff. We have David Akinmade, who is a trailblazer with a rich background in driving transformative projects across technology and business. As the founder and captain, and I've never heard someone call themselves captain before, so please tell us a little bit more about that and the concept behind that. Of Leroy AI. He's dedicated to empowering communities through innovation. He's going to be explaining more about why he does what he does and how he does it. So please welcome to the stage, Mr. David Akinmade.
Can everyone hear me? Awesome. So, typically, I would give presentations like this off the top of my head, but I want to be very exact this evening. So I have written out my speech, and I'll be presenting that. Okay, are we ready? Good evening, everyone. Standing on existing protocols, I am David Akinmade, the founder and captain of Leroy AI. I'm sorry I can't talk about the story of why my title is captain and not CEO. Perhaps at another event I'll do that. However, people always ask me, what does Leroy mean and how do you even pronounce it? So here is the quick guide. I don't mind how you pronounce it, just make sure it's 3 syllables and not 2. So Leroy works, don't say Leroy, please. Make it 3 syllables, all right? But it is actually a word from my native Yoruba language, and it encapsulates the idea of speech, understanding, and quite on brand for an occasion like this, storytelling. So in the next 10 minutes or so, I'll be sharing 3 personal stories, upping the ante with each story. The first will be about the mystery of beginnings, the second about the power of community, and the third will be a story about things to come, my vision of the future. Story 1, the mystery of beginnings. I first became enamored with the idea of immigration in 2017. I was a final year engineering student at the University of Lagos in Nigeria, and Goldman Sachs had arrived to conduct their annual interviews. They aimed to set up students from each graduating engineering class with fancy tech jobs in the UK. I applied and prepared with the confidence of an Olympic athlete, but was promptly rejected in the final round of the interview process. They were looking for software development skills, and at the time I had none. In that moment, I decided I was going to learn how to program. Since Python was one of the easiest languages to grasp, I taught myself how to code in it. I was a beginner again. This seemingly inconsequential decision led me to fall in love with data analysis, as Python is one of the most suited languages for it. After completing my youth service in the Nigerian Army, I decided to give immigration another shot. This time, I had my eyes set on Canada. The country was cold, very cold. But what it lacked in temperature, it overcompensated for in the kindness of its people and a very attractive 2-year postgraduate work permit. However, I did get rejected again by 4 Canadian universities until on my 5th try, the University of Regina finally welcomed me for a master's in computer science. Guys, if you're going to clap that often, we won't finish this presentation. I was a beginner again. I had no desire to be an entrepreneur when I arrived in Canada, especially because the Immigrant's Manifesto is very clear. You get in,
you get to work, and you get your PR. Deep in my heart, though, I still carried the pain of rejection I had suffered at the hand of Goldman Sachs. And I made it a conscious mission to rise as fast and as high as I could in the professional world of data. But life had other plans. Dr. Howard Hamilton of the Department of Computer Science at the university reached out to me in 2021 to work on a machine learning project for the Provincial Ministry of Corrections and Policing. It wasn't the most lucrative offer I had on the table, but I'm glad I followed that path that fulfilled my heart the most. If not for that project, I wouldn't have been exposed to learning more about large language models, which I applied during a second project at Sasktel. And because large language models were the spark that set the current AI revolution ablaze, I would not have had the chance to be hired as the first AI prompt engineer by Precision AI in the province. At Precision AI, my entrepreneurial fire was rekindled after winning my first 24-hour startup hackathon and participating in the Start Cohort 8 organized by the Cultivator. So here is the question. Did I know that by being rejected for my first foreign job, life was setting me up for a career as an AI founder in Canada? Absolutely not. And that is the mystery of beginnings. Most times we believe because we know exactly what we want, we automatically know how to get there. I have learned, however, that the path to our dreams is filled with many small, non-obvious steps, which we can only follow with the heart and not with the mind. Story number 2. The power of community. Upon arriving in Canada, I became dissatisfied with how people spoke about the mental wellness crisis plaguing young people, without mentioning how social media was playing a huge role in this downward trend. If they mentioned social media at all, it was always about how it should be banned or set aside in some way. I knew the answer required a lot more nuance than that. And so we built Joyfeel. The idea is very simple. We were going to give people an easy, intention-based way to create their own algorithms for social media. Why? Because algorithms determine what you see, the thoughts and ideas you interact with. These thoughts and ideas affect your emotions, and your emotions drive the intentions or behaviors that you follow through on. So our goal became turning social media content consumption from something that distracted people from being their best self into an activity that could help them stay on track, both mentally and emotionally, on the intentions they set their hearts to. I had faith that this idea was going to work, and based on my conviction in the seriousness of the problem and the uniqueness of our approach, I quit my 9-to-5. At Precision AI, someone say yeah, to pursue entrepreneurship full-time as a founder in 2024. I got a hot desk membership at the Collider, which is a tech co-working space managed by Innovation Saskatchewan. And I went about the business of engaging young people to learn about this problem and also convincing talented people to help build the solution. I was a beginner again. But this time, it seemed like I had run out of beginner's luck. And the city that once loved me seemed to be against me at every turn. We would pitch our arts out and win nothing at pitch competitions. Most government grants considered us ineligible because we had only been in operation for less than a year. Investors considered us too risky an investment because we had no traction. Personal funds, which mind you were insignificant to begin with, had run out. Friends and family whom I'd have relied on for support seemed to be equally having a rough year, particularly my parents who were dealing with multiple land-related legal issues at the time. It became very hard to maintain team morale because there was no means of compensating them. Progress on the product stalled. I couldn't even pay myself. I couldn't pay my bills. My phone service got cut off. I couldn't afford my vehicle registration. I couldn't afford my rent. And I promptly became homeless within 9 months. There were many nights where I could only have sleep for dinner, as that was all I could afford. But in my darkest moment, God smiled on me again, and I found mercy. I understood that as long as I still partook of existence, of the ever-present I am, there is always more working for me than there is working against me. The black community shielded me. My local church, RCCG Peculiar Nation, shout out Peculiar Nation, get in. They basically said to me, while we may not understand the complex AI stuff you are trying to do to make the world a better place, we will make sure that everything else that could be a hindrance to letting you reach there gets sorted out until you get back on your feet again. And they did just that. They housed me, they fed me, they transported me to and from work every day for 3 months when I lived outside of the city. I chose to share this part of my story particularly because it is the fear of scenarios like this that causes people to shrink back from following the path of their highest potential. It is because of fears like this that the Immigrants Manifesto has remained the same for decades for people of black descent. Yes, the cost of the ultimate version of who you want to be would always be the sacrifice of who you currently are. But do not let that dismay you. For as long as you can see, to the glory of God, I am not dead. Mercy and fortune will always be available to favor those who decide to act in courage despite the limitations, adversaries, or contrary opinions that may exist on their path. Story number 3, my vision of the future. Within this decade, there is a huge chance that artificial intelligence will achieve autonomous general intelligence. It is our mission at Laroye AI to ensure that this technology is adapted as a sieve that helps humanity navigate through the endless, ever-increasing noise of future social media platforms in a way that fosters wellness and productivity, as opposed to eroding it. To accomplish this, we've started our pilot program in the province, and we are seeking to engage and onboard employee benefit providers, mental health care professionals, public libraries, universities, high schools, and even concerned parents and teachers. In addition, because we had to bootstrap our way through 2024, a serendipitous outcome was that we started offering AI consulting services within the prairies, particularly to businesses and governmental agencies that had the necessary data to launch AI research and development projects, but needed a technical partner to execute the process. So, a little bit of shameless advertising. If you are in the audience and any of those descriptions matches the organization you represent, my DMs are open. Please, let's have a conversation. Artificial intelligence will also be unlocking even more value across several industries. And the easiest way for us as a community to get in on this wealth transfer, because that is exactly what it is through angel investment. Recent employment income statistics show that over 300 high-earning black professionals are scattered across key industries like mining, manufacturing, agriculture, and health here in Saskatchewan. With the annual ROI for angel investment sitting between 20 to 30%, which is 4 times more your average investment kind of portfolio, and government incentives like the STSI, which offers 45% tax credit on startup investments in Saskatchewan, which is the highest in Canada, by the way, over $250,000 of capital, at the very least, can be deployed annually by our community as an investment syndicate to create win-win situations, win-win economic opportunities for both black businesses and investors in our industries of strength. We owe it to ourselves and to posterity to make sure this time in history does not pass us by. In conclusion, to my fellow beginners and aspiring beginners in the room, this is the sign you have been waiting for. To take that leap and bring into existence all the dreams you carry in your heart in this new year. Beginnings are uncertain, but perseverance will lead you towards your goal in many small, non-obvious ways. You will make mistakes, but embrace the lessons and not the regrets. And please, surround yourself with people who see you as you wish to become. My final story for the night. 2024, COBSME's BBNE. I was sat there, that table. I was here with Sipe. And Prince is somewhere in the building. After Shakira Edoho gave her keynote address, Prince looked at me and he said, "David, next year that is going to be you." And here I am. So in a similar vein, I am looking out at this audience tonight, and I'm saying, next year, some of you are going to be on this stage. And I cannot wait to hear all about the transformative experiences and insights you would have to share with us all. I am deeply grateful for this community, for this city, for this province. I hope you all find the rest of this networking event twice as enjoyable as you seem to have enjoyed my stories. Happy Black History Month. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. Can we please give one more round of applause for him? That's phenomenal. If there's one thing that I personally can take away from your three remarkable stories, I think it's just to act, to really take action, to not let fear hold us back, and to really leverage as well the relationships and community that we have around us to propel us forward. So thank you so much for your vulnerability and sharing, and also for sticking with it as well. We're really excited as a community to see what you continue to come up with your company as captain. Okay, so we're now going to continue moving forward. We have a much anticipated panel discussion. Last year, this was one of the highlights for many of us as part of the business networking event, as we got to hear insights from a variety of different perspectives, all on the same topics as well. This evening, we have industry leaders who are going to be sharing their insights on business growth, challenges, and opportunities within the Black entrepreneurial ecosystem.
All right. So I'm extremely excited to be able to welcome our moderators as well as panelists up to the stage, but we want to ensure that all of you know who they are as well, as after we begin the discussion, we'll also be having an opportunity for questions and answers. So we'll just take a moment to wait for everyone to get settled before we begin to introduce them up to the stage. If you are still looking for your seat, we just ask that you quickly make your way back to your seat and wrap up any discussions you're currently having so we can begin the next portion of the event, everyone. We really appreciate your cooperation with this. Thank you so much. And the unfortunate part is I know some of you by name, and I don't want to call you out by name, so please don't make it awkward for myself and for you, uncles and aunties. Thank you. Okay. All right, everyone. So we are going to continue going with the rest of the event. I'm going to get started in introducing the next portion of the event here. So moderating this discussion, we have a trailblazer in our community in her own right. Vera De Silva is a corporate and commercial lawyer, and also, you don't want to miss this part because this is groundbreaking Black history happening right here in our community, as she has also been the newly elected board chair of the Regina and District Chamber of Commerce. Can we please give a round of applause for Vera De Silva? Next, I'll also be introducing the rest of our panelists that will be joining us for tonight's discussion. We have Jessica Pegg, the Program and Growth Manager of WESC. Also joining us is Mike Tate, the CEO of Regina and District Chamber of Commerce. We have Dan Irvine, the Director of Procurement and Contracts Management at Sask Power. And Dr. Femi Ogurinde, the President and Board Chair of the Canadian Mental Health Association. Yes. So all of these individuals are going to be leading us in tonight's discussion. For the panel discussion, as I mentioned, at the very end, there will be an opportunity for questions and answers. So if you do have your phone available to you and would like to take some notes of questions that you might have to follow up with, there will be an opportunity for that as well. If your question doesn't get answered, no fret. There will also be more networking opportunities towards the end of the event for you to be able to ask your questions directly as well. So without further ado, our panel discussion. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm going to need you to do better, please. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Happy Black History Month. February is always such an exciting month, and it's also such a busy one for me because there are wonderful opportunities to just engage with the community, and it fills my heart with so much joy to get the opportunities. Last week I was in Calgary. We had the National Black Law Students of Canada, so all Black law students across the country came together in Calgary, and I had an opportunity to speak there, and I'm having this opportunity again, so it's always wonderful to just connect, and there's so much energy in the room, there's so much passion, and it's wonderful to see all of you here. Thank you so much for coming. So the theme tonight is corporate efforts to enhance diversity procurement for Black-owned businesses. We've got 50 minutes, and my time starts now. I don't have a timekeeper, but I've got the microphone, so. We've got Dr. Femi here. When I first met Dr. Femi, I said, well, not when I first met him, but when we were talking about the panel discussion, I asked him, how would you like me to address you, sir? And he said, oh, Femi is my name, call me Femi. I said, okay. So, for people that are not of African descent, we respect our elders. And one of the biggest culture shocks for me when I moved here was having to call my principal, who was 65 years old at the time, and I was 27 years old, having to call him by his first name. So tonight, I have the privilege of calling Dr. Femi Femi. Okay. It'll take some getting used to, but very wonderful that you're here. Thank you for being here. We've also got Jessica. I'm very happy to meet you. You're with West and looking forward to everything that you'll be sharing. Dan with Sask Power. Wonderful to meet you and looking forward to everything you'll be sharing. And Mike Tate. Mike and I work together on the Chamber of Commerce. Well, I am the chair of the Chamber of Commerce, and Mike is the CEO. So every week we're texting, calling, saying, and today I think I've spent more time with Mike than I have with my husband. So Mike had to take that seat because he just wanted to make sure we were not in more photos together. Because this year we'll be together a lot, so disclaimer, nothing is going on, it's work. Okay, so we want to talk about corporate efforts, and I'm going to start with you, Dr. Femi. See, I can't even say Femi. I'm going to start with you, sir.
Why me first?
It's easier to come this way.
Gotcha.
And I want to build on what David talked about, the power of community. Wow. And we're talking about corporate efforts to enhance diversity procurement. And there's several Black people in this room. I know you moved to Regina over 35 years ago.
About 35 years.
About 35 years ago. And I know that at the time, because you told me, because I wasn't born then.
Oh, you were not born then?
No.
So you'll probably be about the age of...
No, don't go there.
No, we don't go there. No, we don't talk about age of women. No,
yes.
You don't do that.
Yes, sir. So tell us what your experience has been, and if there's so much we want to unpack tonight. So if we can all try to keep our responses to 1 minute or 2 minutes at most. Other than myself, I can go 20 minutes because I'm the host. But tell us about the power of community. Tell us what it was like 35 years ago in Regina, Saskatchewan, and what it is now, what it looks like now.
Wow. To unpack that will require 2 hours of talking, but let me make it very brief. In 1990, I could count on my fingernails the number of Nigerians that are here, including Black people. At that time, whenever anyone sees a Black person, are you a footballer? That's it. They don't think that you're going to be a professional. It's going to be football. And you tell them, no, I didn't come for football. And so to look at the evolution of the diversity that we have now, the community that's been built, the many, many immigrants that have come to this country, is nothing short of miracle. That as cold as this place is, it is the warmest, the most welcoming community that you can ever imagine to be part of. Let me pivot a little bit. When I first came, now again, I want you to understand my heart. I love community. I love ethnicity. I have no problem with that. But when I got to this country, I did not look for somebody that looked like me. I was looking to be part of this country, to be part of this community, to be part of this province, to be part of this city. And so what I did was simply, I found a church that was predominantly 99.999% white. And I joined that church. Today, I am their pastor. Talking about the power of perseverance and having a covenant with this land that I belong here as well. Now, it's easy. Let me make it very clear. If you're coming from another place, it's not easy for people to welcome you easily, to give you a space. You got to earn it. Earning it means that you got to learn to eat broccoli. Oh yes, you got to learn to live and talk and just imbibe the culture. One of the first things I did, and I'm going to just pass on this microphone, is I made a terrible mistake one time. Somebody was asking me, he says, well, your wife is going to be joining you. How does your wife look like? I said, compared to you, oh, you are farther than my wife. I didn't know I offended her. 3 months, she didn't talk to me. Until somebody tapped them on the shoulder and said, Femi, you don't say that in this culture. People don't like you telling them they're fat. In Nigeria, in Africa, the bigger they are, the better. One man's food is another man's poison. So to tell you, so those are the things that you got to learn. But our communities have changed over the many number of years that I've been here, and it's just wonderful to see what is going to happen, what is happening right now.
That's hard. Thank you. Thank you for opening with such Thank you very much for opening with such engaging comments. Jessica, in your role at WESC, I know that working with visible minority people and just trying to help promote the organization and businesses, I know that that's important. So I want to bring it home here and talk about the theme, which is just diversity procurement and how organizations can do better. Building on what he's talked about with the power of community, and I know that mentorship, you've talked about mentorship as well when we connected. How can you marry all of these very critical pieces in terms of advising business owners in the room today about how to position their businesses as diverse business owners for success, and your interaction with diverse business owners due to the role that you have at WESC?
We'll trade. Okay, here we go. I don't think I'm going to be as funny as Femi, but I'm going to try. So the biggest thing that I've learned, even as myself as a woman in business, I have my own business outside of WESC, and I'm also a queer entrepreneur, and so there's a lot of overlap with kind of being the other type of business owner. And in working with newcomer women at WESC, something that we've really seen time and time again is that community, and looking for support from people that are actively experiencing what you're experiencing as an entrepreneur. And I see that with women entrepreneurs, newcomer entrepreneurs. I'm hearing it in this room today with Black entrepreneurs. And I think it boils down to people wanting to be a part of a community and have that sense of support and the camaraderie, and to be able to sit at a table and have someone say, next year you're going to give the keynote, and then to be on the stage and give the keynote. Those are the pieces that drive others to change and to strive for greatness in their business. So when you're looking at how you can maintain that momentum, how you can keep that mindset and that fortitude to continue on when it feels like you're alone or no one gets what you're going through, the power of mentorship is huge. And something that businesses can do, whether you're a huge corporation or you're a team of 2 or a team of 1, is mentorship and seeking out others who are trying to succeed, who want to learn, who are eager to learn, and giving them your time and your knowledge. The worst thing that you can do for a business is to not allow them to learn and grow. When you make an assumption that they have everything that they need and they're fine, that's when you've failed them. And I think that it's hard as business owners to show up and say, things are hard. My app is not going to market like I thought it was going to. You know, my restaurant is not getting the business that I thought it was getting. And to say that to someone is hard and it's scary. So if you assume that even the person that seems the most confident and the most successful, that they could still use your support in some way, and that you think about them when they're not in the room, that's when you're really helping businesses grow. When someone's not present and you're saying, oh, I went to this amazing restaurant, you have to go. Or I met this amazing young person who's doing something so interesting, so unique, and it really aligns with what you were just saying. The things you say about a business owner when they are not present is how you support them.
Amazing. Amazing. The things you say about a business owner when they're not there. And in my own world, I think about that as having allies and sponsors and people that mention your name behind closed doors. But I've also realized that it's very, very important for you to talk about yourself as well. I think that there is some false sense of humility that we have as immigrants that stops us from actually talking about our own accomplishments. And so I really do appreciate that you talked about that, because if we can talk about other people and the great work they're doing, maybe we can all just start doing that. I talk about you, you talk about me, and together we can support and empower ourselves. So thank you so much for sharing. Dan, you have the technical, somewhat difficult part of this. So Sask Power is a large corporation, you know, one of the largest employers in the province, and obviously one of the largest organizations that do a lot of procurement and all of that. Can you walk us through what maybe tell us a little bit about your role and what you've seen in terms of procurement, but can you also walk us through what organizations like Sask Power or what government of Saskatchewan is doing more generally in terms of turning their minds to DEI when it comes to procurement efforts?
Thank you for the question, and I'm just going to say that next time I need to go before David, before Dr. Femi. Like, I'm usually charming and witty, but you guys are inspirational, so wow, amazing stuff. So yeah, I'm the director of procurement at Sask Power. We are one of the, if not the largest supply chain in this province. We do thousands of procurements every year. We spend well over $1 billion. And I've been doing this for almost 2 decades. I chair a bunch of different committees, and I brought my diverse procurement team with me tonight. So come and say hi to us. We train companies on how to participate in the procurement process. We're very excited to grow, and we're very focused on supplier development. The story of Saskatchewan is the story of small businesses becoming medium-sized businesses, and medium-sized businesses becoming large businesses, and we love that part of our role. That's why we come to work fully every day, is we love to see the impact on our province through the work that we do. So we've spent a lot of time, for over a decade, we've been developing our Indigenous supplier development community, right? As rights holders in our community, that was our first step in prioritizing a specific community, a diverse community to grow businesses. And I've seen organizations from our Indigenous community start as a seed that planted, and it became a huge garden, and now they're world-class organizations that can do a great many things across our whole country, across our whole continent. So what we do at Sask Power, we run a lot of competitions, but we really focus on building relationships with the suppliers and building a momentum where small companies can have that kind of first contract, that first opportunity with a large company like ours, grow confidence both ways. We grow confidence in our suppliers, they grow confidence in working with us, and we start to merge values. We start to merge what drives us. In my organization, we're very focused on providing reliable network, providing a cost-effective, affordable level of power to our community as well. We want to make sure that the companies that we're working with share those goals, share those values, share those priorities. And the very good news is diverse companies are doing that for us every single day. And I'm very excited to be here. This is my first time. And this is a great first step in building a relationship with this community as well.
Thank you. I will come back to you in a moment. You've shared a lot, and I know that several people in the audience would like to hear more. Mike, so I've had the privilege of knowing you and working with you over the past couple of weeks, and I know that you've been a business owner from a very operational front end of things, but you've also been a business owner, and you are a business owner on the silent partner side. I know that you've been a salesperson and probably still are. You know, once you're one, I don't know if you can ever drop that hat. You have strong board experience. Currently, you're a member of the board of the Regina Airport Authority. And now you are the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. So I do feel strongly that you have a very, very strong skill set that you bring to the Chamber of Commerce. So I want to talk about the Chamber of Commerce, but I also want to talk about your experience and all of the different hats that you've had to wear in your professional life. What are your thoughts on how businesses can leverage organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, or what is that thing that the Chamber of Commerce can do for businesses in terms of helping them to be aware of resources within the community and just helping to promote their business overall? More so like, you know, I want you to wear that hat as CEO of Chamber of Commerce, but also as a business owner. What do you see both ways, you know, from both perspectives in terms of how the Chamber can help businesses and how businesses can harness what the Chamber has to offer?
Yeah. Thank you. I do have to shout out, because I think, David, you're back here. Is that? Yeah, like sort of the lights. And great job. That is something Jessica and I were speaking about, where I've seen some keynote speakers get paid a lot of money to do less of a job than that. Your ability to bring people up and then down and tell stories and make them memorable. And thank you. And I've never seen a guy smile while he's telling me how broke he is. Right? Super cool. So, like, all he can afford is sleep, and he's smiling. Loved it. Okay, so question. I mean, my father always said to me, and I've never forgotten it, is get in the room. And you know, you hear it's 80% of the battle or 90% of the battle is to get in the room. And I've never forgotten that. There's many nights especially with the weather we've experienced in the last few weeks, aside from tonight, where you'd rather perhaps not go to an event or go networking and not carve out that specific time. So by the power of networking tonight, I've had an opportunity to meet Dan. Now I have that ability to call Dan and connect with him when I have a procurement opportunity. From a chamber's perspective, I can probably lean on Dan. Dan might even do an education series at a lunch and learn for our membership. And so we can add value to our members who actually want to understand more about procurement. Dan's opened up the floor and his team to all of us tonight to ask questions and to learn. That's a significant opportunity, and that's what the chamber offers our members, and that's my role, is to get in the room, get connected, and have those resources around us that I can bring back to our membership. So get in the room is a significant part of it, and I've seen some examples tonight. And I spoke about David. A young entrepreneur named Daniel came up to me in the AI space as well, and he's got 2 platforms that he's working on. I just purchased a house, and I now have 2 lovely ladies that are in the professional cleaning services area that I guarantee you I'll be calling. So if they don't show up tonight, right? I should shout out to, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Swiba Cleaning Services. So more to come, but they'll be in the directory, which I also learned about, which now I can take that to our members and say, hey, here's a Black Business Directory if you want to support these. Because it was funny, I was talking to an events manager earlier, and I said it would be great to have a directory so we know who to support and how I can bring my network together to allow them to support as well. And sure enough, the next presenter talked about a directory. So this is why you show up to these things, and this is why we're here as a chamber, and this is the value we bring back to our members.
Thank you very much, Mike. So Dan, you did share something about companies that share similar values with your organization and just making sure that there is that alignment. Obviously, it's Black History Month. Obviously, we have many diverse business owners in the room, probably the largest gathering in Regina of strong, Black talented professionals that you will see anywhere. I'm sure they want to know what those values are and how your organization is tracking that. And again, no intention to put you or your organization on the spot, but I just did. But just wanting to know practices that, in your view, organizations can adopt in order to make sure that, number one, they can actually track that they're making progress on DEI. Is there some kind of metrics? I know that competence is absolutely critical. And I'm not saying that, people talk about diversity hires, and I would say, just give a person the job if they're deserving of the job. But if you see a person that has a background that's, that says a lot about their character, that's probably the person for the job, because more often than not, they're putting their blood, sweat, and tears into it. And I know from personal experiences and what I've heard from other people that you're going to not regret a decision, whether you call it diversity hire or not. But if they are competent and they check all of the boxes and you look a little bit beyond the veil and you see their background, you just may be hiring the best person on your team. I did digress. I'm coming back to you, Dan. Wanting to just know what organizations can do or what organizations are doing, or if there are stories that you can share from what your organization is doing, to make sure that what DEI is not just another thing that we're checking off on a list. We're actually making progress and we're seeing results. So if you say the goals must be shared, are you asking your suppliers what their management team is comprised of? Are there are different metrics that different organizations are using. I'm just curious what you've seen in this market in Saskatchewan.
Thank you. Yeah, straight up, a diverse supply chain is a resilient supply chain. It's very important that our suppliers are an extension of our company to our customers, and any good business prioritizes the needs of their customers, and that forms their goals and their visions, right? Safe, reliable, affordable. That's what we're trying to deliver to our customers. That's what we want our suppliers to make sure that they're prioritizing as well. But to your question about what can we do as far as really intentionally focusing on having a diverse supply chain, diversity of thought is just as important as any of the other kind of value criteria that we're looking for. If you have everyone is thinking the same way, you're not representing the community that you're servicing the same way. I want to have a supply chain that reflects a rich tapestry of views and lived experiences, because that's who our customers are. That's who we're representing to them, right? We want to have a diverse supply chain that's as diverse as the community that we're serving. But as far as what we can do, you have to be intentional. It isn't just a checkbox exercise. It's one thing to just say, I'm going to have a commitment for spend, which is the universal language of procurement. I'm going to spend a certain amount of money with a certain group of people. And that certain group of people, then you start figuring out, how do I kind of define them? How do I put them in a box? How do I track them on a spreadsheet, right? But that really is hard to do for communities that are growing and developing. You have to actually, that's the easiest step. And I know that a lot of people aren't even doing that, but that's just step one. Step two is actually making sure that the companies that are going to end up on that spreadsheet are actually growing and developing, right? So you have to really focus on, how am I going to identify companies with shared values that can actually have the capacity and the capability to do really important things with us, and then spend intentional time growing them. Supplier development is not just shaking hands and passing out business cards. It's really intentionally finding ways to close gaps with companies so that they can actually become the type of supplier that you really need them to be. So we spend a lot of time working directly with diverse suppliers, giving them, we call them momentum projects, where you can start with a small scope of work, you can demonstrate your capacity, your commitment, you can gain new experiences. Often those momentum projects come as a subcontractor to a larger, more experienced contractor. So we track tier 2 spend, right? So we actually qualify companies, we work with suppliers, but we incentivize them to bring diverse suppliers into their supply chain as well. They make commitments to us, and then we track their tier 2 contribution as well. So we have on our corporate scorecard, we have diversity metrics for our supply chain. This isn't just my goal, this is my entire organization's goal, right up to my leadership. This is a publicly stated objective. But our goal is always a stretch goal, and it's always to grow and keep growing those numbers. So again, just tracking, it's a happy coincidence if all you're doing is tracking. It's what are you doing to actually grow diverse suppliers through intentional effort to close gaps and make sure that they're in a position to be successful and learn and grow.
Thank you very much, Dan. I really do like your response, and I just want to, just a minute, people, thank you. Appreciate that, but just a moment. I want to build on that for a second, and I want to just bring it home. There is a cleaning company that Mike has talked about, and this person is in the room. And there are other businesses, food vendors, which is a regulated industry, and the standard is different. But cleaning companies, supplier, publisher, right? Thank you. Tell me, what are you doing? Tell me, give me ideas. I want to know who's in the room. What kind of business do you run? Media, excellent, FSI. Lawyer, I'm a lawyer. Just in case you need services, shameless plug here. An organization like yours can be intimidating to a small business owner. So you've shared brilliant ideas, and they're thinking, whoa, this is so cool. But tell me, really, down to earth kind of telling me, what would that owner of that cleaning business say to you that can help them understand what they need to do to become a subcontractor? I do know that it's a chain. It's a pyramid chain of some sort, right? You do not contract with every single vendor. But how can we, and I'm not against large vendors. Obviously, they employ people like us, and it's important. But how can small business owners not feel intimidated by organizations like yours? So talk to me as the owner of this cleaning business. Hey, Dan, wonderful presentation today. Is there a way I can get a contract from Sask Power? No.
Sure, here you go. Now, you know what I would say is, the reason that I have a diverse supplier development team is specifically to be that kind of soft landing, that group of people that you should have a direct relationship with. We offer a training program, Tools for Success, Tools for Success, and we're very happy to offer that publicly. We're very happy to offer that to your organization as well, to come in and actually learn how to participate in our public competition processes, but also, and sometimes more importantly, meet the people on my team that are going to learn about your capabilities and then advocate for you inside of our company, right? We get all these different procurement requests, and the next time we get a cleaning contract, we're gonna know that you exist, and we're gonna know that we wanna reach out to you and make sure that you're prepared to participate in our competitive process. The way that it used to work is I would just say, oh, you don't have this type of certification, you don't have this type of capacity, you don't have this type of experience. Now our conversation is, this is what I need you to work on, and this is how we're gonna work on it together to close those gaps.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love that response. Yes, please.
Yeah, I wanted to speak to that too. Sask Power has been a huge champion with women-owned businesses in the supply chain. And I know a lot about what Dan is talking about, and I've worked closely with a number of people on his team. And one of the things at WESC that we talk about in supply chain diversity is kind of 4 different pillars, but one that Dan is really talking about is share skills with her. And it applies to all communities, and it's about sharing the skills. So even within a community, if you are at a level where you could be a subcontractor for one of those larger contracts, who are you hiring? Who's supplying to you? The chain is very long. The chain is very long. And so there's always a point at which you can enter. And something that I think is very important is there's lots of room at the top. It's not one person at the top of the chain. There are so many businesses, so many opportunities, and the contracts vary in size. And this is something that when I first started learning about procurement, I was surprised by. When I met with PAC, Procurement Assistance Canada, they were talking about, people think if you are going to get a government contract, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And, I'm not going to be able to secure that. My business would be crippled by a contract that size. But there are small contracts. When I was talking with PAC, they were like, we need people to supply feminine hygiene products to parks. Like, it's not hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's something very doable, but they can't find someone to do it because you're too afraid to apply. So finding those opportunities, and at WESC, actually, shameless plug, this week, on the February 25th, you can see it on the WESC events page, we have a webinar called Build Your Business, where we actually have Procurement Assistance Canada, Trade Commission Service, and I think STEP is on this one, but I'm not positive on that, as well as Cultivator, talking about how to pitch your business, how to get into procurement, how to start looking at export. And these are free services. And yes, it's offered by WESC, which is Women Entrepreneurs of Saskatchewan, but we're not checking your ID when you sign into the webinar. They're open to anyone and they're free. So, if you're curious about that and you want to learn more, there are resources like what Sask Power is offering in their tools for success. There are lots of resources to learn how you become one of the links in that very, very long chain.
Well, thank you, Jessica, because you must have seen my notes when I did this, because that was the next question for you. Yeah. Okay, thank you, because I had that question for you about resources, so I really appreciate that you talked about it. Dr. Femi, I want to ask you about the importance of education and awareness, and I think this dovetails very nicely into that. We started with the power of community, and then we talked about the very technical stuff, and then now we're talking about awareness, we're talking about opportunities. But I want you, because I know that you're very passionate about people fostering connections, people getting educated, people putting themselves out there. I know that the very first time I met you, you said, you're doing really well. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. And I didn't even know that you knew who I was. But you also gave me a piece of advice. You were like, you don't have to, you said to me, you don't have to stay in a closed group with the same set of people. I like that you're breaking out of that. Our people need to break out of that. They need to connect. They need to be a part of this place. So education and awareness, can you tell us how that all ties into everything we're talking about in terms of promoting your business, promoting yourself, and promoting what you have to offer?
Okay, before I answer your question, I have a controversy with Mike Tate, is that correct? Well, I tried to get him on LinkedIn. He didn't respond up to yet. And he was talking to me there, Stevie knew me from everywhere. I go, dude, you didn't answer me yet. Anyway, so make sure you do it tonight. So I just forgive you. Don't worry.
Was there a picture of you?
Oh, yeah, of course. The best picture ever. Okay, Mike, yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about
anyway.
that. I thought it was a picture of me.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And I think it's so important that the power of education and continuous learning is very important, especially when you come to this culture. When I first came to this country, I actually came as a fellow of the International Atomic Energy. I'm a uranium geologist by profession. Now watch this. From uranium geology to being a professor in the university, and then being a pastor, and then veered into politics, and that was where I had a rude awakening of my life when I lost my first nomination in this city, I ran Regina Louvain under the Conservative Party. And I lost on the second ballot. And that shook me to my very, very core. And I go, what went wrong? I had the support of a church that really rolled up their sleeves, and we went out, we campaigned. I got back home every night, 10 p.m. My pants were dropping off from me. I lost about 18 pounds in 1 month. And I was just energized, but I was disappointed because I lost. So I sat down, I did a post-mortem of my performance. And instead of sucking my thumb, I said, geology will not get me to be a politician. I need to go back to school. First thing I did, I went to McMaster University. I got my charter directorship designation. I finished that. I went to University of Liverpool. Got my master's research in business admin, emphasizing human resources. Finished that. I went to Virginia University. Did my doctorate in healthcare administration. And then I got a scholarship to Harvard University. And I graduated 2 years ago. And I'm a grant writer. I'm an expert in grant writing. And some of you want to see some of the things I wrote. I could not believe myself that I can be a writer when I hardly could pass English language. Go figure that out. Just to tell you that the power of continuous learning is so important. And for those of you that are immigrants, I do know Nigerians love education. I do. There's no question about that. But not education just to amass degrees, but to be relevant. Disrupt yourself and reinvent yourself so that you can become relevant in society. Some of you want to get into procurement business, and you don't want to learn anything. You want it quick, you want money quick. It's not going to happen in this society. It doesn't happen like that. You got to network. You got to learn. It has to be continuous learning. You have to deliberately continue to learn and to train yourself, and not just to have certification alone, but training business, training here, webinar there, this there. The power it gives to you is simply it gives you confidence and it gives you space within the community. Now, I used to go after trying to get into boards. Now I'm being hunted. I don't have to hunt for positions. In fact, I am rejecting some positions now. I'm so busy, it's unbelievable. So just to tell you that I think it's important for us, for those of you that want to get into this procurement, it's a lifelong learning, and you don't get it in one day. Be patient with the system. There is always a process.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to give each of the panelists an opportunity to just share anything you want to share. It could be what you had last night, you know, for your dinner. It could be something about procurement. It could be something about your work that you think would be beneficial to these beautiful people in the room, in the audience today. So I'll give you a moment to collect your thoughts. It'll be nice if you made it relevant, but just so you know, you can talk about anything as well. Yinka would kill me if when I get off this place. Yeah, absolutely. I just want to know if anybody has any questions, because we'll be happy to take questions. And until I see hands, which right now, I'm not legally blind, but I'm not sure what's going on. I can't see hands. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So we're going to start, but then the moment I see hands, we can, stop when whoever is talking is done with what they're saying, and then take the questions and direct it to the right person. So Mike, please go ahead.
Okay, I'm good. Okay, share something that is relevant. Okay. I'm going to flip to sales simply because that's a love and passion of mine. I made a mistake at the start of my career, and I truly wasn't even prepared for the question. So I would go to networking events, and I would tell our story, And sometimes people would believe in that, and they would be like, well, then why would I hire you? Or why would we hire your firm? Or what separates you from the competition? If I was to hire you tomorrow, what would you do? And when that question comes, be prepared to answer. I wasn't prepared. I kind of stumbled, and I'm like, well, this is actually happening. This person wants to render my services or our company's services. So I think it's really, really important and sometimes forgotten that you do all this work, you get in the room, and you're right there, and when the beautiful question comes, the moment of truth, and you're not ready to separate yourself and kind of close the deal. So just be prepared to answer the wonderful question as to why.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Okay, no question from the audience yet, so Dan, please go ahead.
So first of all, I've had several amazing conversations tonight with young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs of young businesses, and the pitches are ready. I've heard excellent conversations about value propositions already today. I want to build off of Dr. Femi's comment about lifelong learning and how that translates well into procurement. In the procurement space, we want you to win. We want you to be successful because I want the best value solution. I want the best vendor to actually be the one that's doing the work for us. We don't want this to be a game. We don't want this to be mysterious. I know that our documents, when you actually participate in a procurement process, are long and they're written by lawyers and all that kind of stuff. But it's really important that you understand that you have a tremendous agency. You have a voice when you're trying to earn business with companies like mine and many others. So ask lots of questions. Don't make any assumptions. We want to talk to you. We want there to be a dialogue throughout this process. I don't want you to be at the end of the process, learn that you were unsuccessful and have no idea why, and no idea how you can actually close those gaps and grow your business so you win the next time. Take advantage of things like the debriefs. We want to give you a debrief. We want to tell you exactly what you should have said to us in this process. We want you to grow and we want you to learn every single time that you're participating in this process, because our favorite stories are stories where we were a foundational contract for someone to build a business and build unique experiences, and eventually they don't even need us anymore. Eventually you're selling your products and your services outside of our province, even, and outside to many customers. That's my goal. That's what we're trying to do with everyone that we work with. So don't ever leave anything up to chance and up to, ask us questions and have a dialogue with us. We want you to win.
Thank you, Dan. Jessica?
Okay, so a non-relevant thing. I really wanted to try and do a cartwheel up here, but I think I'll get hurt, so I'm not going to. But relevant information, I spoke briefly about Charter Champions, which is something that WESC does for women-owned businesses. And I wanted to just touch on the 4 pillars of what we include as action items or recommendations that you can do to create more diversity in the supply chain. And they are specific to women, but I think they're specific to diversity generally. The first one is procure with her. So find the Black-owned businesses and have them be your suppliers. Things like the new database are the perfect stepping stone to do that. So help each other and then also encourage other people to find that procurement in that way. The other one is amplify her voice. And that's what I was talking about with what are people saying when you're not in the room. That's a big part of it, finding sponsors. And a sponsor is like a mentor, but they're the person that's telling people about how amazing you are when you're not there. That's another way that you can help diversify the supply chain. Sharing skills with her is something that Sask Power touched on, really, and that lifelong learning component. Just always be learning, always be coachable. When someone offers to debrief your pitch, take them up on it and say thank you and take that information, because I've had many times where people ask for feedback and I've given the feedback and they don't want to hear the feedback. And that's not serving you at all. So when someone's giving you feedback, really try to understand that it's not about you. It's not a personal thing. It's really about the words you said, how you presented the business case, and just know that all of the things they're saying to you are things you can change almost immediately and be even better the next time. And then the last last thing is really shatter a ceiling. And shattering a ceiling is making sure people are invited to things like this. If you know another entrepreneur that didn't come to this event and they should have been here, making sure that next year their butts are beside you, right? Like really looking for ways to elevate other people. And when you do that for others, they will do it for you. And you'll find that the more that you give to others, the higher your own profile will raise naturally. So just really keeping those things in mind. Thank you.
I want to talk about the... Check. Yeah, there you go. I want to talk about the often neglected elephant in the room. I've heard all the things we've said here today, but someone needs to mention this issue of systemic racism that actually looms in society. Not here alone. I'm not talking about Regina. I'm not talking about Saskatchewan. I'm talking worldwide. Now, for those of you that have just immigrated or you're still immigrating to this country, I want you to understand that despite the fact that there is systemic racism, there's all manner of discrimination here and there, that should not stop you from advancing. If you ever get into a country and at the back of your mind is that they will reject me, you will be rejected. I don't give any permission to anyone to reject me. Did you hear what I just said? I don't give anyone any permission. Sometimes it's not because the people reject you, it's because of my own mindset. Perceive that I will be rejected because I don't belong to them, I don't look like them. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a story. True story. I ran for the city election one time here. See, I've had a lot of failures. But those failures allowed me to reinvent myself, to rediscover myself and my purpose in this country. It was a municipal election, and I walked like you won't believe it. Again, because I just believe I want to be part of this society. And one particular afternoon, this lady drew me and pulled me in, and he looked at me and said, Femi, I will vote for you. But can I be honest with you? We're not ready. We're not ready in Saskatchewan. Because it's strange to have people just come in and taking that kind of position. He said, in Toronto, yes, but not here yet. And she gave me wisdom to know that it's not because people don't want to, but it's just that you have had your couch in one place for 30 years and someone is asking you to move it or to give it some space. It's difficult, guys. It's like someone from here going to Nigeria and thinking that all of a sudden you want to be the governor of a state. You think you're going to win because you are the best thing that ever happened to them. It won't happen because they are not used to having someone who is a foreigner. Can we be honest here? So instead of me sucking my thumb, oh, woe is me, they're going to discriminate. Yeah, this is what is going on. The more you talk about that, the more you wallow in it, and the more you will never have a breakthrough because at the back of your mind, I will be rejected. I don't operate like that. I try to find out what went wrong so that I can adjust. Maybe I need some tweaking. Now, I'll give you one more example. I've seen many people that have come because I do educational consulting. Up until now, I think I've brought in 700 students to this country. And still counting. We brought in no less than $50 million into this country by way of this educational consulting and bringing students who paid their way through their government, everything paid, books, everything paid. That is, and Saskatchewan Ministry of Economy did a impact study on our business and how much money we brought into the country. So just to tell you that you have to be willing. If you want to stay in this country, there's no plan B. If it doesn't happen, I'm going back to my country. If you live like that, you will not make any breakthrough. You have to say, everything is here. I'm investing my life, I'm investing everything, and do everything to be part of this society and to love this city and love the people. If you don't love the people, how do you expect to be part of this society?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. We have one question. We'll take that. We are just on time, so the question will take us a little bit over time, but we'll take that question, please. Is there someone to make sure? Or do you want to step? Yeah, by all means, if you do not mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just had to jot something down while the panel was on. A lot of companies have DEI initiatives, but Black and diverse employees, they still face a lot of barriers in career advancement, in leadership representation, and in decision-making influence. So now, beyond hiring, what are the real actions that are being taken to create a culture where diversity isn't just a checkbox, but truly drives equality and inclusion at every level in corporate? Thank you.
I can start. I can talk about like leadership's role. Leadership has to be committed to actually growing the skills within its organization at all levels and actually prioritizing a representative workforce at all levels within its organization. Leadership has to hold people accountable to actually achieving these goals as well, and leaders have to aspire or inspire others to do the same. I know in my organization and organizations that I participate in, there's a tremendous amount of mentorship. There's a tremendous amount of training that's specifically focused on upskilling many individuals in order for them to achieve higher level roles as well. You're absolutely right. It's more than just getting your foot into the door and being part of that company. It's exactly like what I was talking about before. It can't just be a checkbox exercise. You're saying, oh, we've got enough spend for this project, we can move on to the next one. There has to be an intentional effort to grow and develop your skills. And the very good news is organizations want the people within their organization to become the leaders of that organization. So take advantage of every one of these programs that's available to you. Research programs that are at other organizations and have a loud voice and advocate for those types of programs to exist in your company as well. Really progressive, strong leaders, and this province is full of progressive and strong leaders from what I witness, and I work with many, many companies here. They want to hear those ideas too. So don't wait for opportunities like that to happen. Demonstrate that those opportunities are impactful and that you want them, and say, I'm going to lead this. Very much to Dr. Femi's point as well, don't allow the lack of those types of programs to exist. Pursue them yourself and advocate for them. It definitely is, I think, where the world is going right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Absolutely.
And just to add on to that also, I would say work at the companies that have good DEI policies, that it's not a checkbox. Dan and I were having a conversation earlier where if you're not uncomfortable a little bit, you're not really growing. And so to go into an interview and be clear about what you expect, what is available for me to upskill? How do you select people for your mentorship programs, your leadership programs? Because if they're nervous to answer that question, you don't want to work there.
Thank you, Jessica. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I'm just going to close I'll add to this by saying that we all need to check our biases. And it's absolutely important. Every person in this room, no matter the kind of, level of authority that you have, and no matter what your skin color is, what your background is, what your genealogy is, what your blood group is, what your genotype is, whatever it is, we need to check our biases, because more often than not, we actually do have biases, which if they go unchecked, we are probably the hindrance to the growth of our organization. We are probably the hindrance to other people succeeding. And when I say check your biases, I'm saying the same thing to myself. We've had instances where Black COOs or Black CEOs or Black general counsel feel uncomfortable hiring another Black person because they're nervous about how that will be perceived. So they're thinking about other people and they're like, oh, I do not want to have a Black second, right-hand person. But that's a bias of some sort, because you're thinking for them and maybe they're not thinking that. And so, discrimination can go both ways. It can be actual discrimination, but it can also be reverse discrimination, where you are actually the one stopping other people from progressing because you're actually not showcasing other talent around you, or you're not bold or proud of it. So let's all check our biases, let's all do better, let's all be better, and let's help Regina and this community continue to thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, your panelists, Mike Tate, Dan, Jessica, Dr. Femi, your host, Wura Da Silva. I had so much fun. Thank you.
Wasn't that amazing, everyone? Can we give one more round of applause, please, for our amazing moderator and panelists? So we still have a little bit more left in tonight, but just to kind of recap where we're at, we've heard from some amazing and inspiring business and industry leaders right here in our city. Again, these are folks who are accessible to all of you, so there's opportunities still tonight for you to be able to reach out to them, introduce yourself, share your own stories as well, and also connect with other people who you might consider to be peers or people you haven't met yet right around your own table as well. As we proceed towards the end of tonight, I'm also going to be inviting Mrs. Lola Adebule as well to come to the stage, as we're going to be just providing some thank yous as well and some sponsorship as we head into the end of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivia. I hope you guys are having a great night. So good to see you guys. So we could never have put this event together without the generous support. Hello? Hi, everyone. We want to thank our sponsors. We could never have put this event together without the generous support of our incredible sponsors. A heartfelt thank you to Creative Saskatchewan, RBC, SAS Power, Sask Energy, Cell Media Group, Afro Exchange Global Services, FSI Studio, Qualicare, Connexus Arts Center, GMK Accounting, Design Dajin, Scotia Bank, Prairie Scan, Learn How Immigration Consulting, Lagos Kitchenette. Thank you so much for your generous support, and we're hoping to see many more sponsors next year. Also wanted to just thank our team, COBSM's team, that puts this together, working hard. If you're a member of the team, please stand up. Please stand up, guys. Thank you so much for your hard work, everyone, for the late nights and the weekends, giving your time. We thank you so much. And also just want to thank you all for being here. It's not over, but everyone who's used their Friday evening to come here and just for staying and just supporting us, we can never say enough thank yous. We know that as we're doing this year after year, we know it's going to get bigger and greater. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night. Well, don't go. Continue to network.
Yes, the evening is definitely not over yet, but once again, thank you so much for being here and for joining us throughout the entire event. So just again, coming back to some of the housekeeping items, we already know a lot of you have been taking photos and making sure that you're documenting the event to contribute to your little piece of Black History Month as well. So again, if you didn't catch the hashtags at the beginning of the event, the 2 hashtags that we're using to keep track of all of the social media activity are hashtag COBSMES, and the other hashtag is BBNE 2025. So just keep that in mind for all of your social media postings. And then also just kind of recapping. So now we're heading into the conversational piece. You're going to be introducing yourselves. You already have probably met some new people. Reminders in terms of the takeaways from tonight's event. We started at the very beginning with being able to connect with folks, coming here on the basis of networking, being able to introduce yourself to someone new, introduce your business to a new partner as well. So just as a reflection, the first piece, connecting. The second piece, responding. Yes, responding to calls to action like tonight. Thank you for honoring this invitation. The third one that we were reminded of by our keynote speaker, David, around acting, taking action. You're shocked? I'm not shocked. We're taking action after tonight. And after this as well, sharing as well from the amazing panelists, being able to share their expertise. Thank you again for joining us, and also recognizing as well, not to underestimate yourself. You also have something to share, and we're inviting you to do that in this next last portion of tonight's event, which is all about sharing. So we're going to be heading right into the networking section of tonight's event, just closing it off with some amazing music by Elevate Music, a local Afrobeats cover band here in the city. Yes. And yeah, inviting you all to continue connecting, sharing with each other. And that brings us to the formal end of the 2025 Business Networking event. On behalf of myself and the rest of the Coalition of Black and Small Medium Enterprises organization, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next year. Take care, everyone.